lot of people like strong movies. Movies with a message or a purpose that, often make me cry. But have any of you guys seen the movie 7 Pounds or John Q, which is an old one? But these are two of my favorite movies. They both have common interest in a strong message about real life ordeals. This is the donation of organs. This is what I've come to talk to you guys about today, becoming an organ donor and why it is a great thing. I'm going to start out by telling you some information about organ donation, the benefits, and how it saves lives. Then I'll tell you a story about a friend of mine and his experience. And finally, I will explain to you how easy it is to become an organ donor yourself. And hopefully you will understand why it is such a great thing. Many people don't donate because they don't understand all of the information behind it, and they don't know a lot, but after this, you guys really don't have a choice. For those of you wanting to know even more information, if you're interested in donating, there's some websites you can go to, which is organdonororawareness.org, americanheart.org, organdonor.gov, and donatelife.net. Organ donating is something that the world is always going to need. Did you know that there is over 100,000 people on the list waiting to get an organ transplant? And about 18 of those patients die every year. Organ donating is the removal of tissues from one's body into another. It's removed through surgery and placed into the body of a needy person who is ill and deserving. Removed a transplant organ into a patient that can be transferred into a different state or even country. It is placed in a cool, sterile place and quickly transported as soon as possible. A lot of organ donors are looked at as heroes. It's when you can give up your life and you can, let somebody else live their life as well as they can. The eyes continue to see, the hearts continue to beat, and you can save a life just by the loss of yours. And you're somebody that will never be forgotten. You're considered a hero. There are many organs and tissues that are able to donate, and you can save up to 8 people's life if you become an organ donor and you happen to be in an accident. The organs are heart, liver, pancreas, intestine, and stomach. And the tissues you can donate are cornea, veins, tendons, bones, skin, heart valves, and bone marrow. Due to the shortage of organ donors compared to the patients in need, there is a lot of procedures that are happening without finding that perfect match, because it's really, it's just like blood type. When you have to find, A positive, B positive, you have to match it all before, or else your body will reject it. And when you don't find that perfect match, there's always a fear of rejection. There is hyperacute, acute, and chronic rejection. These can happen when you're unable to find that perfect match. This is what happened to my friend Alan. He needed a transport ASAP. There was a match, but the match wasn't perfect. And I'm going to tell you his story about his rejection. You see this guy behind me? That's Alan. His picture taken in 2008. He was cute, athletic, artistic, with lots of friends, and all the love in the world. He was happy as can be. Do you see this guy? That's Alan. That's the same Alan 3 years later after his body's rejection to his bone marrow transplant due to a poorly matched donor. And this is his story. In August 4th of 2008, he received a phone call from his doctors telling them that they found a donor to cure his leukemia. He was told he had to move to Cincinnati for no more than 6 months. He had his transplant on August 28th, but his body soon started rejecting it, and it all went downhill from there. The fevers began, the vomiting, the diarrhea, and the daily, and the chemo made all his food taste disgusting and sour. He was very dehydrated from being ill, and the chemo started deteriorating his muscles. He couldn't walk, bathe, or even feed himself. He had to be fed nutrition through a tube. Soon more infections followed, and his brain began to swell and filled with fluids and put pressure on the brain. This is where he says he doesn't remember anything. Soon he was under brain surgery, and they put a VP shunt into his brain to drain the cerebrospinal fluids from it to relieve the pressure. 4 months later, he became conscious, but likely he became a full-blown drug addict because the doctors were shoving every last pain medicine in them because he was in so much pain. He had to go through narcotic withdrawal and with seizures and everything. And that's when the shunt in his skull began to malfunction. So the procedure after this was he had to get a needle spliced into his head every day to get the fluids drained from his brain. More infections followed. Infections led to shingles on the face, leaving him deaf and blind and seeing double visioned. He had 3 eye surgeries trying to correct his left eye, but they left him completely blind. He soon regained partial hearing in his left ear only. After months and months of physical therapy and 2.5 years in a hospital, he was able to return to his life in Louisville. He informed me that 3 out of 10 people die. Patients die while getting the organ transplant. He was one of the 2 people that survived out of the 7 people on his floor. All these complications are less likely to happen if the more donors that you have. The more donors is the better chance that you will get that perfect match, that you can live your life happily after that. All in all, Alan received a new chance in life. He told me, from his words, he said, "Everything taken away in my life is much sweeter when it is returned. Now I approach life with much more appreciation, knowing how valuable it really is." That is Alan's story. He is one in millions in need of a donor, one in thousands that received one, and one in hundreds who survived. Alan is the one reason I became an organ donor myself. Are you an organ donor, or have you ever considered it? It's extremely easy, and every adult is capable of doing it. You can register at your local DMV, online, at your state registry donation. Sign and carry a uniform donor card, or when it's time to get rid of that old ugly license picture that doesn't even look like you anymore, you can ask them there and they can sign it up. So you need to do it today and go to kyorgandonor.com and click register today. The secret to life is giving. In conclusion, I just want you guys to know that there is no negative outcome to organ donating. You would say, who could say no to being a superhero and saving somebody's life? Hopefully you know the facts and the benefits of being an organ donor. You know Alan's story and his struggle because of the lack of the donors that we have, and you know how easy it is to become one yourself. Remember, accidents happen every day. Organs aren't always repairable, and give somebody the life that they deserve is really self-gratifying in your world. Who knows? It could be you one day laying on that table wishing that you could find an organ donor. What are you waiting for?